In Hong Kong, the crackdown on the democratic opposition has intensified. On Sunday, 47 pro-democracy activists and lawmakers were detained on charges of conspiracy. All the detainees are appearing in the court today. Organizers of an unofficial primary election were accused by Chinese authorities of being a key tactician for the pro-democracy movement in Hong Kong. More than 47 other Democrats were arrested in the January 6th raid. Dozens, including former lawmakers and democracy advocates, were arrested on the same day. American lawyer John Clancy was the first foreigner to be arrested in connection with Hong Kong's new national security law. He said he continued to fight to build a better society in Hong Kong. Other lawmakers had similar sentiments.
And I think that we must maintain the positive view that Hong Kong people have had for so many years of being able to build a better society based on human rights and working for democracy. That people working together eventually will have a better society in Hong Kong.
我自己喺呢幾日都不斷安慰我家人啦。我最主要就同我家人講，我冇做錯過事，我冇做過任何違法嘅事情。所以就算到最後係會去到一個被起訴，甚至乎去到一個監禁嘅結果嘅時候，我自己都係問心無愧。
Joining us on this broadcast now is Richard Kimber. He's joining us live from Hong Kong for more details on this story. Richard, can you quickly tell us what are the charges that these activists are facing in Hong Kong?
That's right, I'm standing right outside the courthouse here where all 47 of the arrested are due to appear just in the next few minutes. They'll face the charges of subverting state power. That's the charge laid against them for holding these primary elections ahead of the legislative election that of course did not actually happen. In the end it was postponed by a year, much to the frustration of those same democracy activists and many of those supporters. It was postponed on the grounds of health because of concerns over the COVID-19 pandemic. Many pro-democracy activists accuse the government of using the COVID-19 pandemic as an excuse to postpone the election because of fears that the government may lose the majority of their seats. So here we are outside the court some months later, and the result of all of this is that those 47 out of 55 people arrested for organising and planning those primary elections for the Democratic camp are now facing these charges of subverting state power under the national security law. It's a charge that could result in a life imprisonment if they are found guilty.
Now, you know, Richard, the detained Democrats had raised questions and some had their mobile phones and computers seized as well. They were released pending further investigation. The Hong Kong police say that 99 individuals so far have been arrested for suspected violations of the security laws, the new national security law that Beijing imposed in Hong Kong. And despite several protracted legal appeals, some have been denied bail multiple times, including media mogul Jimmy Lai. So do we expect the same today as well?
Well, at the moment that seems to be the case. These 47 had in fact been on bail until they were then formally charged over the weekend. So the expectation is perhaps they will not be allowed bail in the same way that, as you say, people like Jimmy Lai have not been under the security law. Since then there's been much legal debate in Hong Kong over how to handle bail applications under the security law, and the basic conclusion has been that it should not be granted unless there is a significant evidence that there is no chance of the people re-offending on the charge that they've been charged with. So in this case we have some 47 people. It's a huge number of the pro-democracy activist camp, ranging from local councillors to basic activists all the way up to former lawmakers and very senior and experienced politicians. So it's a huge blow for what remains of the pro-democracy movement here in Hong Kong. Many people here turning out, as you can see behind me, just to voice their frustration at this process and their support for those 47 who are being pulled into court today. There is a handful of people who are for this process, for the government, chanting just behind the camera here. They're facing some heckling from many of the supporters around me. So another standoff outside court today in what has become a regular experience here in Hong Kong in recent months, where pro-democracy figures of different parts of society have been pulled into the courts to face charges under this new law.
Richard Kimber, thank you so much for joining us from Hong Kong with the latest. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.